you're bearish on BTC, well, there might be some bad news for you. Bitcoin just broke $79,000. It's reaching for the $80,000 mark, and its structure, its trend, it all looks insane. So if we take a look at the chart, you can see that Bitcoin is just ripping through the range that we have set right here. It's having a very strong breakout. It's pushing towards the $80,000 mark, and we're about to see a very strong trend upwards, in my opinion. Why? Well, because there's a lot of positive data that supports a bullish trend. First of all, we have a multi-week high. This is the strongest daily move in weeks. Bitcoin has now broken and held above the stubborn $78,000 area that we have right here. So regarding macro news, we have Trump extending the Iran ceasefire, meaning that we have more risk on appetite because a lot of people are willing to risk more. Everything is up in the markets, including oil, which is interesting. And basically, you have a clear risk on environment right now. So that's also bullish again for Bitcoin. Sailors continuing to spend millions on buying Bitcoin. We have positive spot ETF inflows. And Coinbase Premium just posted its longest bullish streak since $126,000 all-time high in October for Bitcoin. So a lot of positive news. But now let's actually take a look at some data on Velo Finance. So if we're taking a look at this whole trend up right here from $55,000 to $79,000, we can see that we had OI clearly expanding. Now it's expanding along with the price. It's not a massive green dildo that's reaching through the skies, right? It's slowly reaching out along with the price. And that is, of course, indicating bullish momentum. Now, the one thing that we see is that we have a lot of negative funding, right? We have negative funding here. We have negative funding here. Basically, we have a lot of positions who are going short, but that is not exactly the reason why the funding is negative. As you can see, if we take a look at the tweet from Exit Pump BTC right here, he clearly explains how Bitcoin funding rate sentiment trap is not always correct, because most traders read negative funding as people are shorting, like right here. But that's half the story. Many miss the fact that negative funding also appears when spot buyers are aggressive. They're pushing Bitcoin spot prices above perps. We all know that Coinbase Premium indicates strong institutional demand. Now look at the pattern. So Coinbase Premium basically indicates spot buying, right? If spot buyers are buying or if they're selling. Now we have Coinbase discount and we have positive funding rates. Then we have Coinbase Premium and we have negative funding rates. So when you're taking a look at funding rates, you never should read funding rates alone from the standby. You should always take a look at Coinbase Premium too. So in this scenario, clearly we can understand that the negative funding is coming from the insane spot buying that we're seeing from the Coinbase Premium, right? That is nothing to worry about in my opinion. Then along with the price moving on, we can see that we have aggregated spot volume as well rising. That means that again, it's just a confirmation for that Coinbase Premium indicator showing that spot is participating in this upwards move right here. And then we also have perps rising as well, meaning that we have spot and perp demand coming in together, positively rising slowly, nothing expanding too fast. And again, that is one of the most bullish signs you could have for a strong continuation towards the upside. So a lot of positive news. If we also take a look at the chart, we can see that we have on a daily time frame, if we slap on a volume profile, I saw that a lot of people are bearish on this zone right here at $48,000 and $80,000 mark. So between these 2 points right here, a lot of people are bearish, but I don't think that this is actually the spot to be bearish about. The only reason to be bearish about on the $80,000 mark is just because of the number sentiment, right? Because it's an even and round number. Breaking that would place Bitcoin at a higher number range, right? But that's nothing that would actually contradict any liquidity. And if we take a look at the volume profile, now price usually moves through these zones very quickly, meaning that if we start breaking into the $80,000 range and we continue to see the spot demand coming through, we shouldn't have any problems pushing through this entire range very quickly. Then we would start entering the mark where we have actual liquidity underlying, actual stops, and this would be the harder area to break in my opinion. Now, one more thing that you should of course be very off when looking at buying Bitcoin right now is that we didn't have any significant pullbacks through this move, right? This entire move was pretty steady. Well, on this move, we did have a pullback right here, but on this from $75,000, we didn't have any significant pullback. So what this means is that once the move started trending upwards, we had longs entering the market, and basically we didn't really form a floor where the price could catch support. So if we start retracing back into $76,000 or $77,000 for BTC, price could move through these stops very quickly and go down very fast. That means again that you should definitely wait for a pullback before you'd be looking for an entry on Bitcoin right here, in my opinion. Just to be safe, you definitely shouldn't be buying without any confidence, without any confirmation, because again, we didn't have any sort of a pullback and price could really retrace fast in areas where there was no liquidity made. As you can see on volume profile, we also have some low liquidity zones, some low liquidity nodes, again, meaning that price can move through these zones very fast. So I am indeed very bullish right now. I do think that Bitcoin is going higher. I do think that we're going to be breaking past the zone very easily, but again, I wouldn't be also surprised if we start breaking down. But again, I'm just saying this because anything could happen. If the trend is telling and showing us that it's bullish, there is literally no reason to be bearish. We see positive macro, we see positive macro, we see positive structure. We're making higher highs with higher lows. There is literally no reason right now to be bearish or going short. Instead, wait for pullbacks, enter on your point of interest, enter with confirmation, and just take the position higher until you actually see that price is starting to break down. We see that spot is starting to sell. We see that perps are getting liquidated. We see OI dropping, funding turning more negative, Coinbase premium turning negative as well. Then you start looking for shorts, but not when everything is flashing bullish.